Hello there, timekeepers and scorekeepers. I want to just give you a quick demo of Timekeeper-Pro in a nutshell. This is the world's first timekeeping tool that is designed from the ground up to be an assistant to the timekeeper. It is the pro in the box. If you use this at the same time that you're running your manual scoreboard, this should be your fallback, fail-safe tool to be able to tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and what the scoreboard is supposed to have. As a nice side benefit, it creates electronic game data suitable for printing real time or for sending it to the Timekeeper-Pro website to be able to see the results in a near real-time approach as well. In order to get the thing going, all you have to do is hit the start button. It goes out to your schedule and asks you to confirm a few checklist items before you start. Your game structure wants to know who's playing on the home team, wants to know who's playing on the away team, and it wants to know who your starting goalies are. After you've done that, you're away to the races. Start, stop, start, stop. Enter a goal, click the away goal, say who it's scored by, who it's assisted by, confirm you get the right team, automatically goes up onto the scoreboard. You'll notice that down in the bottom right on the reports side here, if we click reports, the ODHA game sheet that we have, which is not the only game sheet we have, we can customize any game sheet that you'd like to see. The system is automatically keeping track of this for you. So at 1957, there was a goal from 11, 17, and 25. This is a full feature game sheet, so it will keep track of penalties when the player went off, when the penalty actually started, and when the player went back on, and it keeps track of all of your code infractions, who was the penalized player, who was serving it, and how long it was. I'll demonstrate a little bit more of that in a second. So if we start now, and we want to put in a penalty, you click on any place where there's a home penalty or an away penalty, either side doesn't matter. What pops up is a recap window for this window on penalties that have been called on this particular play stoppage. So if you want a penalty for the away team, click over anywhere here on the away side. It'll bring up the details screen, defaults to a minor penalty, but you can click to any different type of penalty that you want. The system will refilter the penalties. You'll notice that all the penalties are in alphabetical order. In this column, these are all common ones. These are all the alphabetic ones that are not so common. Okay, so if the first player to be penalized for the away team is number 9, you got a 2-minute minor for slashing. And let's say the second player was number 10. He got a 2-minute minor for roughing. If you return, you'll see that there are 2 penalties now to number 9 and 10, 2 minutes each for slashing and roughing. If we return and post that to the board, they go up on the board and they're ready to go, and we're ready to start the clock. If you realize that just before the ref is about to drop the puck, let's say on the home team, somebody gets a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Let's say number 15 gets an unsportsmanlike 2 minutes, goes back up on the board. You'll notice that now the system is smart enough to know that these 2 penalties are now coincidental, and number 10's 2-minute minor is the only thing that should be up on the board. So you'll notice that's exactly what happened. 9 and 15 are now coincidentals. It's telling you automatically that 17:52 plus a whistle is when these 2 guys get back on the ice. Number 10's penalty starts at 19:51. So let's just start the clock and stop the clock. If you started the clock and the whistle goes now, but you don't stop the clock on time and hit stop, we can now back up the time a little bit if you want, a second or 2. Click back a second, and it keeps taking seconds and putting them back onto the clock. You'll notice that it's a finer granularity here on the 10th. So we can take a 10th and put it back on as well, or we can take it off. So if you've made a small boo-boo and the crowd is yelling at you and the ref says add a second or take off a second, it's simple to do. And you'll notice also that the penalties are all adjusted when you do that at the same time. It's a lifesaver when you have multiple penalties up on the board and you have to add a few seconds. In most game situations, it would just be unreal that the timekeeper would ever be asked to do that. If he does, it takes forever. There's always a delay. This does it quickly, efficiently, and you know exactly what's going on. You'll also notice that down on the report side on the ODHA game sheet that we've got as an example, we know what time all these players went off, what time they started. And you'll also notice that these offsetting penalties are now telling you that there are 3 players in the box, 15, 10, and 9, keeps track of them. In most situations, you would only ever see this, the timekeeper, or the actual time penalties. You don't know what the other 2 players are, but by this configurable parameter where we can show the coincidental misconduct helper, then you get the added benefit of always knowing how much time there is in every player that's in the box's penalties. Okay, and it can get complicated, so that's a very good key feature. So let's just do one or two other demonstrations that I can do for you. If the away team right now, if the away team gets an additional penalty, let's say number 13 gets an elbowing penalty, so we have 2 penalties up there now. If we stop the clock again and the away team gets a 3rd penalty, number 24 gets a tripping penalty. The penalties now stack. So number 10 and 13 are still time penalties up there. Number 24's penalty is now waiting to start. But as I said, you can see all the players in the box and what their times are. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 players, the away team, are in the box. We know exactly what time they are coming in and out. And it also tells you that number 10's penalty finishes after number 13. So he'd come back on at 1:55.7 seconds in the game. It's telling you that number 13 comes on after number 24's penalty finishes, which is 1:38 plus 2 minutes, it's 3:38. So if we start and stop the clock, some other intelligent features that it has built in, because the home team is advantaged right now. If they were to score a goal, the penalty with the least amount of time on it would automatically come off the board. So number 10, we can expect that his penalty will end. Number 13 will bump up to this position, and number 24's penalty should start. So if we just enter a goal for the home team, you notice that's exactly what happened. And on the game sheet, if we take a look at that, at the when the goal was scored by the home team at 19:26, it automatically knows there was power play. It automatically knows that 19:26, number 10 came back on the ice and starts number 24's penalty. It hasn't started yet, so it hasn't been populated. Okay, the one last feature that I'll show you is that we have an additional style of game sheet. We call it the Timekeeper-Pro game sheet. This game sheet is a little generic now. If you look on most of the big websites that are out there, they have a game sheet that's much more like this one, where it keeps track of scoring, shots, and power plays, face-offs, and records it in a little bit more graphic display, where it doesn't have the detail with respect to what time the player actually went on the ice, but it does clarify a few other things, and it's nice. If that's the one that you want, you can take a look at that. There is also a penalty report that we have that keeps track of power play and penalty kill analysis to show you how many minutes of power play you had, the shots you had, the goals for and against, and that type of thing. And the one last thing that we can do is if any point during the game you would like to record the results of the game so far, you just simply have to go to the game sheet, and then all you have to do is say post the results so far to the website. So at this point in the game, it's 19:18 in the first period. So if we exit out of here and we go to the Timekeeper-Pro website and we say view game sheets and results, and we go to the correct league that we're following here, it's the Eastern Ontario Junior League that we're looking at. It's June 21st at 3:23 real time. It's 1-1 is the score. And if we look at the league game sheet, 19:18 of the first period, we can see exactly what's going on. It's 1-1. It's showing all of our penalties. I'll just zoom that in a little bit for you so you can see it. So it's like real-time results available on the Timekeeper-Pro website. If you don't want to use the Timekeeper-Pro website, there is also a feature on the reporting side so that we can email this to your webmaster. Not necessarily by email, but we can communicate this information to the webmaster so they can go up onto your website as opposed to the Timekeeper-Pro website. So as you'll see, there are a bunch of features that are pretty positive and very powerful for the timekeeper and scorekeeper. Should make hockey management, as far as off-ice officiating goes, much better for the future. So if you're interested, please feel free to contact us at www.timekeeperpro.ca. We'll get in touch with you and see how we can set you up. Thanks, and have a good day in the box.